Welcome back to another video in the series. And today we are going to explore, we are going to learn a lot of things in Azure Front Door. We'll start from routing methods because we should be aware of these things for the next steps. I'm trying to make it well structured so that in first two videos you learn about Azure Front Door, different aspect of it, now the routing methods, and then the different aspect of the front door profile, manager, instances, endpoint, origin, a lot more. So let's get started. We're trying to make it absolutely basic so that we can understand the concepts. Okay. So let's suppose this is your Azure front door. Okay. Now, this design or diagram we are making from the perspective that we have already been through the actual how it works, as you know, the edge and things and everything, because we have to understand the routing methods and we already know the basic concept, the foundation of front door, edge, backend, MS backbone, how the flow happens. So we're not going into the flow right now because we need to understand the routing methods. So how we'll keep it? We'll keep it very simple. Let's make two or three regions because it is a global load balancer, right? So we have three regions. We can call them R1, R2, or let's call R3. They have the backends running, could be VM, VMSs, and all those backends that front door can have, even external. Right. Now, these routing methods ensure that your application is fast, reliable, and scalable, regardless of where the users are located. That's the reason we use front door, the Anycast, split IT, edge, all those concepts come into the picture and help us make our application fast, reliable, and scalable that we dig deeper in our first video. So regardless of where user are located. So in our design, here is the user located. This is our user who will try to access the applications running in different regions. These are application maybe running in app service or VMSS or VM. These are our app. I hope this design started making sense, right? Now, the very first is latency based routing method. What it does, as the name says, it is latency based, which means performance based routing, right? So Azure Front Door measures the latency, the response time. What it will do, it will check the response time. All right, because only then you can define the latency, response time of your backend servers. Okay, all these three are the backend servers. This application right here, and this application, and this application. Now, front door will see the response time and it sends user request to the backend with the lowest latency. We moved it to the region 1 because region 1 has the lowest latency as per the response time. Okay, so this is our first latency method. I hope it is clear. Very simple, nothing biggie. Right now, let me write it down. This is our first routing method, latency based, and it is directly depend on the response time of the different backends, which is done by the front door, and accordingly it will send the traffic where we have the lowest latency. So when we have to use it, well, if you have backends in multiple regions, that's the reason we are going to use it. But we can use it even if it is a single region. That's a different requirement altogether. However, let's come to the point when the user needs to be connect through the fastest path. Performance is the uh, main criteria for the application. So performance. Now, this is best for global websites, streaming services, because we don't want to stream with the lagging, right? We want the people to have the exact information. So low latency. Then let's see the another method, which is uh, priority. We have already seen the priority in our traffic manager as well. Even latency was there. So just for the sake of this front door video, priority is when we define primary and secondary backends. For example, this is our primary when we define the rules, and this is our secondary backend. So this request will always go to the primary, right? Until the primary goes off, then it will go to the secondary, right? So this is priority based, right? This is priority based, as the name says. All right, so when we have to use this primary, secondary, well, we have talked about it many times. So when we need high availability requirement, like the DR kind of situation, where downtime is not acceptable, or if the primary goes down, the secondary can take over, like mission critical applications. So this kind of situation helps our application to remains online even if one region or one data center goes down. So HA and the DR kind of situations where we utilize priority base, where our main is in the primary and in the secondary we have put the standby, right? And only the primary is catering all the requests until the primary goes down. If both are active, then it is a different situation, right? So the third one is weightage. This is the same weightage as we talked about in the traffic manager, which means traffic is distributed based on assigned weight, like 30% here, 20% here, 50%, like that. So you can control how much traffic goes to the each backend, right? It could be best for the situation where we have A/B testing, right? A canary deployment, gradual rollouts for new features, right? In that situation, we use the weightage, right? Now we have another kind, which is not exactly, but yeah, we could say because route is going to decide by the session affinity. Yes, it also serves the session affinity or sticky sessions that ensure that all requests from the same user session go to the same backend. Useful when user data needs to persist between the request. Okay, in that situation, if the application is like stateful kind of thing. All right, we have already talked about these routing methods in our previous load balancers. The mechanism is same, right? Then because it is the big brother of who? App Gateway, right? So of course it's going to support the URL based path routing. How it works? Exactly the same way as it was working in the app gateway, like slash images and slash videos was the example we talked about. So it route request based on the specific URL paths. Different sections of your website can be served by different backends, right? If your application is split into multiple microservices and each has a different backend, you could utilize the different URL paths to go to the different backends. Okay. All right, then we also have geo routing, routes traffic based on the user's geographical location, like country and continent. We had same in the traffic manager, which is best for region-specific content, compliance with data residency laws, and of course, country-based customization, which is geo, right? So these are few routing methods, almost same as the different routing methods that we have learned as of now in our this particular series. So Azure Front Door, we can say, is a powerful traffic manager that ensures your users always connect to the right backend in the fastest, most efficient way possible by selecting the right routing strategy. You can optimize performance. The first one, ensure high availability. The second one, enhance security because WAF and other stuff provide better user experience, right? Now, let's see the different other aspects of routing methods. What are those? We're going to learn the first profiles because when we create this front door, we create the front door profile first, right? So, what are Azure front door profiles? So, profile is a logical container that holds configuration settings and policies for multiple front door instance. Okay, so front door is one. You could have multiple applications running at the backend, different applications, right? So in profile, I should write Azure AFD means Azure Front Door. It is a logical container. So it is just a container where we are holding the configuration settings and policies for multiple front door instances. So behind logical container, what comes? Comes the Azure Front Door instances. Instances. I should write Azure Front Door profile here, right? And Azure Front Door instances. With front door logical container, or you could say it is like a management layer. Okay, all the instance could be managed from the Azure Front Door profile, a single profile. Why it's not coming? It should come here, right? Right. Instance is the actual uh, front door configurations or VMs running at the back end for that configurations. Okay. All right. So this first we create profile. When we create the first thing we create profile. We'll start that again. First, understand it. All right. And profile holds the configuration settings and policies for multiple front door instances. This is a profile. Inside this profile, let's call it Azure Front Door. This is profile P. Okay, this is profile. Inside this, we have multiple instances. Each instance has its own configuration. Let's make it below here. Okay. But we can manage everything through the profile. So that is a management layer where we can define uh, under the profile, we can define global traffic routing, okay, routing policies. We can define load balancing rules. We can define caching and security policies as well. All can be defined from the profile. Now, why do we need it? Well, it's quite obvious now. It allows multiple front door instances to be managed under one profile. So centralized management. Centralized place to configure security and performance settings, right? So, and help simplify governance by grouping related front door instances together, right? So these things we can be done through the profile itself for the multiple instances. It should be clear now. Now let's explore the instances. What are instances? I should move this logical container management here. Okay. Now explore the Azure front door instances. What are these? These represent a single configuration of front door services such as custom domain, right? Origin groups, which are your origin backend servers, the routing rules, for that particular instance. Okay, we can have multiple instances doing multiple things, so each instance could have multiple routing rules. Okay. Okay. And caching policies, again, we can do all those things from the profile, but we can do this for each instance separately as well, right? So each front door instance can have unique routing rules and the backend. So these are instance for this backend. For this, let's put this in such a situation. There is Azure Front Door instance. Okay. This instance is catering app 1, which is in 3 regions, which is our scenario right now that we are diagram. This user, this instance, all 3, same app in 3 region. Now we can have instance AFD instance 2 for app 2, which could be in 2 regions, right? Similarly, we can have Azure Front Door instance 3, which cater app 3. It has maybe 4 regions or 1 region, doesn't matter. So instance is holding all those things for that particular application. And all these instances could be managed through a single, a single, let me write in a style, profile, right? Profile. Single profile will manage all these things. I hope this is clear now. Good. All right, then. Now, let's take a little more profound example. Let's suppose there is a company running multiple application. Let's say company runs 2 different application, app 1 and app 2. App 1 could be e-commerce, app 2 could be your HR portal, doesn't matter, like they are 2 different applications. So what we will do, we'll create what? We'll create profile first, AFD profile first, right? The single AFD profile can manage 2 instances, so we'll create single profile. This profile manages what it will manage. It will manage AFD instances. All instances will manage through profile. This is what we have learned as of now. Now we have 2 instances, right? We talked about 2 applications, so 2 instances, one for each application. So let's say AFD instance 1 is for uh, app 1. Okay. It could have a custom domain, let's say abc.com. Okay. Now the origin is backend server, which could be in 3 regions, R1, R2, R3. So we can say R1, 2, 3. Okay. These are the origin groups. We can call it origin group, OG, OG origin group. And it could have its own policies like WAF policies, right? Now this is instance 1. We can create another instance in the same profile, which is AFD instance 2 for app 2, right? Now it has maybe custom domain xyz.com, and uh, its origin group may be in only region 1, OG, only one. It could has its own WAF policies. It has its own WAF policy. Okay. You can customize those as well along with all those Microsoft provided rules. You could have your own rules, right? We can say this is app 1 and app 2 is only in region 1. All are managed through this profile. This is what I was trying to explain here again. So I hope this is clear now, right? Now, how does this makes front door better? Let's try to understand this. Why Microsoft thought let's play like this, or let's prepare it like this. The very first thing is one profile manages multiple instances with different configurations. So it ensures proper segmentation of traffic and security policies through a centralized management. Centralized management, right? The profile enables a single pane of glass view of for monitoring all the instances, right? And security settings. Now each front door instance can have a different load balancing rules. Now it is absolutely clear, right? So centralized management is the region you need to have the access to the single portal from where you can have all those configuration. And Microsoft does that. Microsoft try to put everything in a centralized, everything related in a centralized pane, like you will see in MS Fabric or Entra ID, those things, right? So it is easy. It is good for security, good for management. Right, so let me take you through Azure portal, which will help us to understand it better. All right, so we are on the Azure portal. Let's type in Azure Front Door. We already have. Click on it and click on Create. So Azure Front Door, we can have a quick start, custom create. Let's go with the Azure Front Door so that we can see all the settings. Now, if you see, we have only basic tax review. So these are the information which is we need to be aware of. And once it is created, we have more settings to configure. So till now, what we have learned, let's apply here. What are we creating? What we create first, we create profile, right? We create profile. What we create? Profile. All three places we were creating first profile. And here we are creating profile. Now what we are creating in the profile? We are giving the resource group name. We are getting the name of the profile. It is the name of the profile. And then the tier. Front door comes with the two tier, standard and premium, two SKUs. Now endpoint, this is your instance, endpoint. That's what we are creating next. Endpoint instance. This is ADF instance. This is ADF instance. That's the name we are giving. This is our name. We can give it a name. And origin is your backend. Okay. All these could be the backend of ADF instance, which you are managing through profile. All right. So, and we can enable caching, apply WAF, all these things. These simple things we are putting it here, and we need to click on review and create. No more information is needed. However, I have created one. Okay. Once it is created, it looks like this. Don't focus on the names. I just give XYZ. So it looks like this. Status is active. This is some random name, myazfd01. Okay. These are the settings that we need to understand. Okay. Origin groups that we're talking about, the custom domains, the front door manager, rule sets, all those things that we need to understand. Right. And when we were trying to create, we already know endpoint is the AFD name, origin type is the backend server name, and we can apply the rule sets here. Okay. So let's understand what is front door manager. Then we'll understand all these things one by one. Hopefully we'll complete it soon. All right, then let's come back to our diagram to make more sense out of it. So in the Azure portal, what we did, we first created the profile that I showed you. Once it is created with normal information that we put in, endpoint, we need to give some name as the name that we would like to call it and apply some protocols there. And uh, quickly come to the traffic manager and other security settings that we were looking here. Where? Looking here. All these settings. All right. So what is Azure Front Door Manager? So it is a centralized interface within Azure portal that allows you to oversee and configure your Azure Front Door profile. We have profile inside the manager. Okay. It provides a comprehensive view of your all the endpoints, all the endpoints. Endpoints is where inside the profiles. What are the endpoints we're referring to? It is AFD instances. Okay. So And it enables you to manage various components such as routing rules, domains, origin groups, and security policies that we saw right here. All these things, okay? We can add an endpoint from here, right? So let's go further. Start with the we know what is traffic manager, what all key functionalities we can do. We can do the endpoint management. We can apply the routing rules from here. We can do the domain management here. We can associate and manage custom domains with front door profile, organize and configure groups of backend service, which is your origin groups, and implement WAF policies to protect your application from threats. All can be done through the manager. All right, then let's go to the second point, which is domain. So in Azure Front Door, domains refer to the custom domain names that user employ to access the application, like abc.com that we were doing, abc.com or xyz.com. These are the domains, right? So here it comes the domains. We need to prove we owns it and we can add the domain and we could utilize it as a custom domain for our application. These domains are mapped to your front door endpoints or instances, allowing front door to route incoming traffic appropriately. So custom domains provide a branded and user-friendly URL for the application, enhancing user trust and recognition. Let's say associating these domains with Azure Front Door enables efficient traffic distribution and management across your backend services. Then what can we do with this? We can apply HTTPS settings such as TLS SSL certificates, configure CNAME records, right? Those things can be done through the custom because we have the domain placed in there. Then origin groups are the collection of backend servers. Like here we have only single one we created with blank. You can add more. And we have all those settings like path, routing, all those things are here. Load balancing rules, latency sensitive, right? Okay, then session affinity is right here. Now add an origin. This will help us to add the backend. We can give the name, origin type. All these things could be the origin, like your backend server where you want to reach. And these are the priority and wait URL routing methods that we talked about, ports, HTTP 80, 40, all those information is here. So what is origin groups? The collection of backend servers or surveys that front door forwards user requests to, right? Front door is passing user request to the origin, these things. Don't get confused with the endpoint and origin, okay? So grouping origin allows for efficient load balancing, failover management, and health monitoring. By organizing origins into groups, you can control traffic distribution and ensure high availability of your application. Like in AFD instance 1, app 1, all these three apps running at different places are the different origins. Okay. So front door act as a global load balancer, meaning traffic needs to be directed to the best performing backend or as per the rules. So origin groups allow you to group multiple backend services such as app service, VM, Kubernetes, or other APIs and set rules for traffic routing and failover. All right. Then with this origin groups, we have all those routing methods that we were seeing here. Priorities here, like load balancing can be done here as well. Okay. To the one origin group, you have multiple backend and how the let me try to explain here. So all these, this let's suppose this is one group and how the traffic will go, it will be defined when we add the origin. These all are the backend group, could be is your one origin group. We can have health probes there, session affinity we saw. Then it was the rule set. Rule set. Rule set in Azure Front Door is a collection of rules that define how to modify or route HTTP request and response at the edge before they reach your backend service. These rules allow for customization of request handling based on specific conditions. So why do we need it? Well, rule set provide granular control over traffic behavior, enabling scenarios such as URL rewrites, redirects, header modification, and more. This flexibility allows you to optimize performance, enforce security policies, and tailor responses without modifying the backend code. So, what it is giving us: the conditional routing, URL rewriting, header management, and redirects. Then we have, domain, we understood, origin group, rule set. Then we have optimization. So what are we doing in the optimization? Well, front door refers to the set of configuration and feature designed to enhance the performance, reliability, and efficiency of your web application. And optimizing your front door setup ensures that user experience fast load times, minimal latency, and high availability regardless of their geographic location. So, what are the key functionalities of optimization? Caching, compression, utilize gzip or broti compression to reduce the size of responses. Store copies of frequently accessed content at edge location, caching, and employ protocols and routing strategies that minimize latency, like traffic acceleration, improve throughput, and handle encryption and decryption at the edge, TLS offloading, reducing the processing burden on backend servers. Then we have another setting called the configuration section in front door encompasses all the settings and parameters. So configuration section is where you define core settings related to front door behavior, right? So this is configure timeout settings for connection, adjust session persistence settings for better load balancing, all those things. So with this, I think we are done with almost all the settings, and I hope it was informative. And thank you for watching. And you guys have a wonderful day.